Hey guys, Rick with Raleigh Sport Direct here, bringing you another video blog update on our Albino Rhino. We have a ton of things to go over because, well, I am sorry I was delayed in making this video, but we've been working on this car very hard. We got a lot of stuff on the car, so let's go ahead and start from front to back. So you guys can see these beautiful yellow Laminex headlight covers. I absolutely love these. Kind of gives the car a little bit more of a racy feel, like a GT 300 car with those yellow headlights. Really like that. A little bit further back, we've got the Carbon Craft alternator cover. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of adding things in the engine bay, like, carbon fiber bits, but the stock plastic covers were really kind of dinky and just not the best looking. So I opted for that cover, and it looks really good, just very, very clean on the car. A little bit further back, or I guess I shouldn't say further back, a little bit further down, we've got the Cartboy lightweight crank pulley on the car, and I'm a big fan of anything you can do to make this engine, a little bit more rev happy, just a little bit better responding, and we did exactly that. And of course, that really complements the carbon fiber drive shaft that you saw in our previous video, or two previous videos, something like that. And again, it just brings a little bit more out of the engine. You can rev it quicker. Rev match downshifting is a lot easier, which is always very fun, especially in a car like this when it's just fun to drive. It's never going to be the fastest car in the world, so we just want to improve on what we already have, and it's such an easy install that, why not? Up front, we've got the APR brake ducts. Now, we don't have the actual brake ducts hooked up to anything. It's just more for looks right now, but later down the line, let's say we wanted to take the car out to the track, running those actual lines to the calipers, to get a little bit better airflow would be very, very easy. And the actual install on those was actually very easy as well. And I really like the way they look. It just kind of makes, again, the front of the car look a little bit more aggressive. And then you can see right here, these genuine STI side markers. And again, just something to bring out a little bit more of the car. People look at it and they're just like, something's a little bit different about that. And that's exactly what it is. I really, really like these. I'm a sucker for, genuine STI parts. So why not, right? Moving to the interior of the car, we've got the JPM shift boot and the brake boot, or e-brake boot, excuse me. And of course, I went for the black Alcantara with the red stitching to kind of match with the OEM theme. And just little things like that, I love it because it makes the car nice and clean, kind of adds a different feel to it. You can kind of customize that. And of course, JPM offers a ton of interior parts. You can just kind of go buck wild, but we wanted to start a little bit mild and kind of build our way up. And so you might see some of those in the future. Now, right beside me, these beautiful APR rocker panel extensions. Really like that. I was a little bit nervous about installing it because they do tell you have to drill, and I just don't feel comfortable drilling on a brand new car. But APR made it super easy. Their instructions are, pretty much dead on. So all you have to do is, line them up and drill, screw them in, or I guess bolt them in, and they fit like OEM. And that's the other nice thing about it, is I was thinking we're going to have to kind of fit them, fiddle with them, but you literally hold them up to that rocker panel and it sucks right up in, and you know exactly where to mark and drill. So really, it's not too bad of an install. Moving a little bit further back, we've got the rear spats from APR, again in carbon fiber. Now, I thought these are actually going to be a really easy install because you've got all OEM holes there and you just throw some bolts in, but Subaru was nice enough, or mean enough, I guess, to bless us with absolutely zero working room back there. And so I've got little hands, and trying to fit my hands back there to get access to the top of those bolts was a little bit difficult, just took a little bit of time. Little painful because you got lots of sharp plastic pieces back there, but really not too bad. And I love the way they make the rear end of the car look. They just look absolutely beautiful. Now, for performance, we added a NVIDIA catted mid-pipe. And then before, you guys saw our N1 catback exhaust, and now we've got the Q300 on there. I'm a sucker for titanium tips, a little bit cleaner of an exhaust. Not that I didn't like the N1, I really did, but I wanted something a little bit more subtle and a little bit quieter, something we can kind of cruise around on the freeway and not have any problems with. And it absolutely sounds gorgeous on the car. I really love the way it brings out the sound. And again, that catted mid-pipe definitely helped open up the, I don't want to say it made a ton of power because it just didn't, but made it a little bit more responsive, a little bit more peppy, and just overall a great modification. And plus it bolts up like OEM. The exhaust, the mid-pipe literally takes 30 minutes to install, so very, very easy. My favorite mod that we just did is Tane hooked us up with a set of brand new Street Flex coilovers. Now, this is their new line of the, you guys are familiar with the Flex coilovers, and this is basically just an improvement on that. Now, the thing I liked about that most is the fact that, you still retain a lot of comfort. You get the camber adjustment top hats in the front. Of course, the rear you can't adjust camber because of the way the rear suspension is set up. But you have full height adjustment and full dampening adjustment. And I haven't really had a chance to mess around with that too much, but I did have a chance to go drive the car. We actually just got it aligned, so I was just having kind of a little bit of fun with it. And one thing that really impressed me was cruising down the freeway. It feels a lot like stock. I mean, obviously it's a little bit firmer, but really the comfort is still there. And we've got these Cusco pillow ball rear arms on the car, and I was thinking, okay, this is going to transfer a lot of noise into the car, into the cabin, but I was really impressed with how quiet it remained. Now, I did hit a big bump, and of course, when you really compress that strut, you can feel you know, the extra spring rate in there and stuff like that. But really, I mean, not too bad, especially for, you know, a full-fledged, I don't want to call it a racy type coilover, but a stiff coilover. It still retained a lot of comfort, and so I really, really like that. Again, we're trying to keep this car mostly streetable. We don't want to build it into a track monster or anything like that. We want to be able to, you know, drive it to lunch and enjoy it, and this is absolutely perfect. Now, one thing about this new Street Flex coilover is Tane is introducing their EDFC Advance. Now, we're going to get into that later because we have not actually got that kit. I don't think it's officially released yet, but we will be installing on this car, and of course, I'm going to do a review on it, but I'm really, really looking forward to that. But of course, I really wanted to test out the just the normal Flex coilovers, excuse me, the Street Flex coilovers, just to see how they did without the EDFC Advance or anything like that. And again, I really, really like it. Just a great coilover all around. And then, of course, for the, what do you call it, drivetrain, we really wanted to stiffen that up, and I still want to go further with that because I still feel like there's a lot of slop in the drivetrain. You know, once you get the suspension down, you really start feeling that weak drivetrain mounts, you know, that you can, anytime you're on and off the gas, you can feel that whole engine and transmission flex. So we installed the white line transmission insert, and that, again, was a super easy install. You literally just drop down the little cross member there, slide the bushing in, bolt it all back up. And that actually did make a nice improvement. And the other thing I really liked about that is noticeable increase in noise harshness or vibration, which is always a plus on this car. And then on the rear of the car, we installed the white line rear subframe inserts, I guess with our bushings, right? And the install was a little bit more involved on that because you do kind of have to drop down the rear subframe. And if you're like me, something always goes wrong, but really it's not too bad. And so that install, I'd say, took us about 2 hours, and I really took my time. I didn't want to mess it up too bad. You know, so if you're familiar with the car, you've dropped down that subframe before, you could literally probably do it in 45 minutes. They're really not bad, and they're just inserts. So you basically retain the factory bushing. You're not having to press anything out. You just slide them up in, put the bolts back up in, and you're on your way. And that really did help the rear end of the car. And with, again, with the suspension mods that we did, you know, you could really feel that rear subframe flexing. Now, of course, there are still more parts we want to address as far as, you know, keeping the drivetrain a little bit stiffer, maybe dial in the suspension a little bit more. I think with that EDFC Active, that's going to be a huge benefit to us because we can really start playing around with that and having that active part of it. And I'll get into that later once we actually get that, but that'll be pretty cool to play with. Other than that, I mean, we've just really enjoyed the car. We've been trying to put some more miles on it. I know, you know, we've been slow with updating these videos, and I do apologize about that. But again, I've been installing parts on this car like literally every single weekend. And right now it's, I don't know, 12 degrees here in Utah where we live. We're hitting like record cold temperatures. My hands are literally freezing right now, but I'm really excited to bring this video to you guys just to let you know what's going on with it. And then as far as future mods, we are talking about doing some, you know, actual power mods to the car. I know I've kind of hinted that we're trying to stay away from that. We want to keep the car, you know, really, I don't know, I don't want to say slow, but just minor mods. But we're thinking about going a little bit crazy with it. So do definitely stay updated on these videos. And if you have any questions, you know, Facebook, YouTube, hit us up on live chat. Give us a call. I'd love to talk to you about the BRZ. If you've got a BRZ and you're kind of wondering, you know, what to do with it and, you know, the direction you want to go, I'd love to talk about it. I've been learning a lot with this car, been doing a ton of research online, and I'm more than happy to help you out. That's all the time we've got for you today. Thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next time.